everyone, and welcome back to another session of SellerSpeak. Today we have a very special person with us. His name is Jonathan Gould, and he is a king of UPC codes. We will discuss what UPC codes are, and I think he is the best person to introduce the topic. So hi, Jonathan.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going good. So can you just tell our viewers what UPC is?
Sure. A UPC is a 12-digit globally unique number created by GS1 back in the 70s. And then essentially right after they created the UPC, it was so popular they had to invent the EAN. And the best way to think about those is like two sides of the same coin. So most of North America uses just the UPC, and the rest of the world uses the EAN. So between those two formats, that covers the entire world. And yep, that's how people get their products into retail stores and uniquely identify them.
Well, and how do they work? How do UPC codes work?
Sure. So it's a lot kind of like I always use the example of a telephone number. You know, it's a unique number, simple as that. It doesn't store any data within it, just like your telephone number doesn't have your name crammed within it. Same thing, a barcode number is purely a number. And then it's globally unique. There's about 1 trillion numbers in existence created by GS1 back in the 70s. There's a lot of barcodes.
Yeah.
And they all come from GS1. So that's how they're globally unique. So people can't just make them up. We wish we could. That would be illegal. And so yeah, each code is globally unique, just like each phone number is globally unique. And yeah, so it's essentially a number entered into a store's point of sale system as a unique reference number. Just like your name is unique, just like your phone number is unique. You know, just like when you're typing a phone number into your cell phone, you know, it pulls up the person uniquely, it doesn't pull up other people, same exact way. So it's very simple. It's 1973 technology, but in 2020. So it's way simpler than most people realize.
Yeah, that was so simple to understand. Thank you for that explanation. Like, it made things so much clearer. And if I have an Amazon account, can I sell on Amazon without a UPC code? Is that possible?
So without a UPC, most of the time, no. But if you're creating a new product that doesn't already exist, then you will need a barcode. But for scenarios where you wouldn't need a barcode would be like if you're creating a variation listing, or sorry, not a variation listing, because that is still a new product. But if you're selling a product that already exists, just as another bidder or another manufacturer selling the same thing, you would just kind of piggyback off of an existing listing. That's actually something Amazon pioneered. It didn't exist before Amazon came along. So that was kind of like a shock to a lot of people. Hey, how are they using my barcode? But yeah, Amazon allows that. You know, they want people to line up behind a listing and then, you know, bid for the best price. Customer wins, and obviously there's competition driving prices lower. So that's one way. And then the other, you can sometimes get a barcode exemption called a GTIN exemption, and which has its own set of rules with that. And so, but yeah, for almost any time you're creating a new product, you know, then you would need a barcode for that product.
Well, yeah, that you should, because it just makes your job easier to have a barcode, I feel. Otherwise, how will you even identify your products, right?
And you'd need it for just almost literally every other retailer on earth. So if you ever plan on branching off of Amazon, you're going to need it anyway. And so, yep.
Yep, and BarcodesTalk deals with providing barcodes for Amazon and retail, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yep, absolutely, yeah. So we supply barcodes to inventors and manufacturers all over the world. And yeah, it's as simple as that. You know, most businesses have a choice of either owning barcodes or renting them. And most people would rather own their tool than rent that tool.
Definitely,
so, yeah. We supply barcodes to businesses all over the world, have been for the past decade. And before that, we've been doing barcode label and tag printing for over 25 years.
Wow, that is amazing. And how much does it cost to have a barcode? Like, how much is a seller paying for getting the barcodes for the products and listing?
Sure. So we have bulk pricing. It starts at literally just one barcode is just $5. And so that's USD because we do sell globally. But yeah, one barcode is just $5. And say, for example, a popular quantity is like 100. That's just $45. So it gets much less expensive the more you need. So some businesses need thousands they have thousands of SKUs, so they need thousands of products, one for each variation, or you can buy one by one, totally up to you. And so we list all of our prices right on our website, which I'm sure you'll link in the notes somewhere.
We'll link it down below, definitely. And if I'm a seller and I have placed an order for the barcode and I've given you the money, how much time will it take for me to get it?
Oh, no time at all. It's an instant digital download. So yeah, it's a beauty, fully automated right through the website. You just click your quantity, pay for it, and then download it instantly. And we also email you your receipt with your download link as well. And you can click that download as many times as you need to. So it's never lost. We keep all of our clients' orders stored online in their online account as well.
So it is safe. Like no one is going to find out my information. That is great. And I just wanted to know, now that we're talking about your company, why should people buy Barcode from you specifically?
Sure. So a couple of reasons. I don't like to pat myself on the back too much. But yeah, objectively and being skeptical, which I'm a big fan of being skeptical and researching everything, is, it really helps to understand there's really only two ways you can get your hands on a legal barcode number. You can either rent it from GS1, which is their business model since 2002, or you can own it outright if it's pre-2002. So we handle pre-2002 legally ownable barcode numbers. And so we've been in this business for just about longer than anybody else. And of course, we've been selling barcode labels way before that. And so we were part of the original class action lawsuit that took place with, back then they were called the UCC, nowadays they're called GS1. And so because of that suit and settlement, that's how you have a legal option to own. And so, yeah, kind of getting back to the reference earlier about tools. So most businesses we found would rather own their tools rather than rent them. So it's totally up to the business. I know a lot of your clients are working with Amazon. And so, barcodes will work for virtually 99% of Amazon sellers. In our experience, about 1% to 2% are brand registered. And so in that case, they have different options. They would not be able to own their own barcode, unfortunately, because at that level, Amazon just assumes they have so much money and so much legal recourse that that could actually detrimentally hurt Amazon. So they treat brand registered sellers with big kid gloves, so they treat you just like as if you're a billion-dollar company that could, do whatever you need to do if Amazon made a mistake. And so anyway, for everybody who's not brand registered, they can own their own barcode and use it for life.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on your point where you mentioned that people should buy the barcode instead of renting it. Because if you have a company and you have like a long-term goal, it's better to buy it off and then rent it, because once you're renting it, you have to return it at a point of time, right?
Yeah, if you stop paying GS1's annual fees, then they take the numbers back. And if they catch you using them, obviously that's their own thing between GS1. But yeah, with ownership, it is as simple as it sounds. You buy it once, just like you buy anything, like you buy groceries. You don't have to rent your groceries. Why should you have to rent your barcodes? But yeah, at a certain level, if you're a massive company, then maybe you're not best suited for what it is we provide. But if you're a small, medium-sized business getting started, and especially with Amazon, you'll be just fine.
Yeah, so can you tell me the price difference that happens when you're renting a barcode from GS1 and when you're buying a barcode from you? So how much does it cost to rent and how much does it cost to buy?
Sure. So I'll simplify it because it can get kind of complicated, because GS1 has kind of like a sliding scale, because the bigger you are, they actually charge exponentially more. So they charge on a sliding scale based on revenue. But let's say you have zero revenue. So we'll compare the cheapest case scenario from GS1 versus owning. So let's say you just need one barcode. You have one product. One barcode, if you own it, is $5 because it's just one code. Whereas if you went to GS1 to get one barcode, you'd be forced to rent a block of 10. And so it'd be like $250 up front plus I think $100 or $150 every year forever. And so the price difference is wild.
Oh, yeah.
So you can see why a lot of people, and that's just one barcode, and they make you get 10. So they do it in blocks, whereas we sell barcodes by the number. So it's a lot more efficient. And so, as the numbers get higher, their prices get even more wild. So let's say you need 125 barcodes. Say you have 25 products with 5 variations of each, 125 barcodes. Well, you could buy that exact number from us for, I think at 125, it's around like 45 cents each.
Yeah,
so
approximately.
For example, 100 is 45 bucks. And whereas the same from GS1, you would, if you go over 100, then you have to rent 1,000. You can't just get 100. You could maybe get 2 blocks of 100, but then there would be 2 separate beginning prefixes, and some people want to see their numbers all in order. Computers don't care, but humans do. So yeah, 1,000 barcodes would be something like $2,500 upfront, and then at least $500 a year forever. So you're quickly getting from under $100 for hundreds of barcodes to thousands of dollars. So it can add up quick. But if you're a massive company, and you're brand registered, then you really have no choice. But for everybody else, you can own a barcode and save a ton of money.
Yep, it definitely makes sense. And it's not just about the money. Like the process of renting a barcode and renewing your contract with them can get a little bit tricky, especially when you're selling on Amazon, because Amazon is a very complicated platform. And just if you can buy your barcode and if your company is taking care of the barcodes, why not just go with them, right? Okay, so we had some questions for you, specifically from our sellers. And for those of you who are watching, and if you have any questions for us, please, you can comment now and we will get back to you right now. So first question is, how many sellers have bought inexpensive GS1 UPC codes and ran into issues later? And can you tell me what are some pitfalls of buying UPC codes?
Sure. So the first question is, there's no real percentage, but there's no surprise that things can go wrong. Amazon does not make things easy for sellers. While barcodes are insanely simple, it's like typing math into a calculator. Amazon's system is the opposite of simple. It is not just a calculator where it wants you to enter a UPC number and you're done. They have all sorts of branding, layers of coding that protects major brands. So let's say you're trying to sell, a good example is like a Nike product, and you want to enter a new item under Nike. Well, the moment you type in Nike, then they make sure your barcode is one of Nike's own barcodes. So they have all these layers on top of a regular point of sale system. So anywhere else you go in the world,
So complicated.
Anywhere else you go in the world, it would literally be as simple as copying and pasting a number into that field. You move on. Amazon, they have about 50 things and it's all fully automated. And unfortunately, their own reps, at least the lower level reps, just do not understand how their own system works. So a lot of what we do for our clients is troubleshoot. And so, because for most inventors or manufacturers, it's their first time ever working with barcodes. So you take that, that learning curve, which thankfully is not very much, and then you add Amazon's learning curve. And so, it makes for a whole bunch of error messages, and we can sort through them. If any of our clients ever, or any of your clients ever get an error message when creating a listing and it's barcode related, have them reach out to us. We know, we have a section on our website dedicated just to Amazon error messages. And so stuff can definitely go wrong because there's a million ways error messages can pop up on Amazon. Thankfully, barcodes are extremely rare, and those issues, there is an exact solution and we can provide those.
Yeah, well, that makes things much more relaxed and easier. So our next question is, can you talk more about the new policy that Amazon came up with specifically to barcodes? And can you tell me how it will be reflected in GS1 database properly?
Yeah, so around, it wasn't long after, it's funny, I actually talked with, this is years ago, because I'm the general manager here and I've been doing this for over 9 years. What's that, 4.5 years ago, after a series of emails to Jeff Bezos himself, we finally got a call from supposedly one of his direct reports, so somebody that works directly under him. And we had to explain how barcodes work and how there was all this, because Amazon allows all sorts of stuff to go on. Some of it is not allowed, but Amazon kind of turns a blind eye to it, unfortunately. So we brought that up to them. We had to explain how barcodes work, how GS1 works, GS1's class action lawsuit, how people can own a barcode versus rent it, all that stuff. And not long after that phone call, Amazon came out with rules. So I guess they were doing their due diligence, doing research, and they came out with these barcode rules. So yeah, Amazon will, and thankfully it didn't affect their actual selling platform. So at that time in 2016, nothing really changed. They just updated their verbiage. It was all talk, but no actual, it was all bark and no bite. It wasn't till around mid 2018 where they implemented the new rules for brand registry. And so that's like we talked about earlier, brand registered sellers, they just assume you have more money than God.
Tons of money, yeah.
So they just assume,
that they pose a threat to Amazon's future. Like if Amazon faces any trouble, it's like a threat to them. I completely get it.
So they have to be very careful and do everything by the book. And they chose, hey, for brand registered sellers, we're going to go this route. Because with a brand registered seller, you can get an exemption, or if you really want to use a barcode as your primary product ID, then you have to rent that barcode. And that's only brand registries. Everybody else is fine. They can use barcodes normally.
Yeah, just brand registered.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of the issues come from their reps. I have yet to talk to a seller who has had a good experience talking with Amazon's lower level reps. Just because they often don't even know how to do their own job very well, let alone say our industry. And so their reps literally are only trained. They don't even know that GS1 had a class action lawsuit. They don't know that you can own a barcode versus rent. They're not trained. And so it's understandable. They're lovely people that are just not educated in these niche matters. And so
their customer support is pretty nice. I'm surprised that the same does not go for the sellers out there.
Oh yeah, it's entirely opposite. Yeah, we've seen it to where, because Amazon would be nothing without their buyers. So they'll bend over backwards for, the consumer. Yeah. And then, they make it often very difficult for the sellers. But, that's life. If you're going to create a business, it's not going to be easy. If you're going to make a lot of money on Amazon, it is definitely not going to be easy. And, but thankfully the barcode side can be very simple and you can use them normally. And I don't want to get too far off track. So if there's anything left to that question,
I just like how this became like spill the tea about Amazon and its sellers, like spill the tea, Jonathan. Well, thank you for telling me this. I did not know this. Well, thank you. So if the sellers are watching, this is something that we didn't know about.
One thing that you asked that I didn't cover, and definitely bring me back on topic because I can ramble on this all day, is GS1 has a rental database. So all records post 2002, so for the past 18 years, are based on a rental ordeal. So pre 2002, the first 30 years of GS1's operation was all ownership. So those records all those barcodes actually are not owned by GS1, nor controlled by GS1. So that's billions and billions and billions of barcodes. But all the ones post 2002 are rented. So if you, let's say you pick up a can of Coke, and type the barcode into GS1's rental database, you'll see Coca-Cola pop up because, Coca-Cola is a multi-billion-dollar company and they rent their barcodes, whereas if you legally own a barcode and you enter that into GS1's rental database, it will not appear as your company name because you're not renting that barcode. So all records on GS1's Jupyter database only matter if it's pre-2002 and if you're renting. And everything else, all those billions of barcodes are no longer property of GS1. And so GS1 is literally and legally, they cannot update that information because they don't own it and they don't control it. So all they show is a static record that's been around since the 70s. So yeah, GeoSwim's Jeeper database can be a bit complicated, maybe a little bit more complicated than this quick call can cover. But yeah, if any of your questions have more detailed, or any of your customers have more detailed questions about GeoSwim's Jeeper, we're glad to go over that with them.
Definitely. So anyone who's watching and they have more doubts about USP barcodes and anything else, do leave a comment down below, or you can definitely contact Jonathan. I will link his company profile below, and you can definitely contact him. Jonathan, the last and the most important question: how can people contact you, and do you have a seller discount for our SellerApp customers?
I believe so. I know there's something the owner was partnering with you guys and vice versa. So we'll be providing that link, and then also how can they get a hold of us? Obviously our website, which is BarcodesTalk.com, or you can email us directly at contact@BarcodesTalk.com, and our number here is 877-263-1343. And
I will link it down below.
Absolutely. Yeah, so we'll have the links, and also we do have, not only do we have a 115% price match guarantee, because we're confident that we'll beat anybody else's prices for legal barcodes, but we also have a works for Amazon guarantee. And so, so we cover everything. That way, if somebody gets a barcode and they're using it as intended, if anything goes wrong, we'll make sure you're taken care of, replace the barcode, refund your order, whatever it takes.
Well, that was a sigh of relief. I think Jonathan is the best person who can help you out with any of your barcode issues. And for our SellerApp customers, we have a special discount for you, which I will link down below. So hurry up and get your barcodes. And so I think we have reached the end of the session. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here and talking everything about UPC barcodes. Thank you so much for making everything so clear and spilling the tea about Amazon and how they treat their sellers. And well, thank you so much. I mean, this was a great session.
Hey, pleasure. Glad to help. And definitely reach out if anybody has any questions. We're glad to help.
Thank you. And if you want to grow your Amazon business with us, so as we discussed, Amazon is a very complicated and crowded place. SellerApp is always there for you. Check out our free tools, and I will link them down below, and you can start your Amazon journey with us. And we promise you that we will make it less complicated. See you next time. Bye-bye.